welcome back to the Laker family, where the Lakers capped off a Christmas day with a loss. Very disappointing, but there were some good things, and I'll get to that. But they lost 122 to 115 to the Brooklyn Nets. And it's mighty funny how, like I said, these guys they go from being injured on a COVID list, uh, something like that, and they just magically just run back whenever it's time to play the Lakers. I think it was DeRozan for the Bulls. Now it was James Harden. Guys just miraculously somehow get pumped up and ready to go when it's time to play the Lakers. And James Harden, he looked good tonight. He was doing a lot of damage, especially early on in this ball game. He did a great job of controlling this game. I want to say at least like maybe 70% of this game. We started off terrible. They jumped on us. We just looked dead. We looked dead in the water to start this game. And I felt like Fizdale waited a little too long in that beginning to call a timeout. The way Brooklyn pounced on us, our defense was just it was terrible. Like I don't understand. That's like what was the announcer Stan Van Gundy, not Stan, but the other one, Jeff. Jeff said that the numbers look like we are the best. The numbers say that we are the best defense in the league, but we don't look like it. Like Mark Jackson said as well. He said sometimes numbers tell the truth, but sometimes numbers lie. And in this situation, the numbers are basically lying in our favor because I don't know how the hell we are considered the number one ranked defensive team, or not the number one, but number 11. I don't understand it. It blows my mind because what I'm watching is pure garbage on the defensive end. Guys just getting layup lines, and I was going to talk about this in the game we lost against the Suns. In the game we lost against the Spurs, the game against the Suns, my phone happened to cut off while I was recording, and I was talking for 20 minutes. I just couldn't redo that one. And the Spurs game, I was tired of doing some things, but it's basically pretty much the same thing that I was going to be discussing about those games. It's just the defense is just like they look like a matador with a bull out there, like just laying them to the rim every single time. It's atrocious, man. It's atrocious. We ended up making some good plays, chipping away at that lead before the half. And I think we went into the half down by maybe 5 or 6 points. So we left it manageable. We came out the third quarter and we was shooting the lights out the first 2 minutes of the third quarter, took the lead, and then it's like once we get a lead, we don't know what to do with it. We don't know what to do with a lead. And it's been an ongoing theme the past 4 or 5 games. It's like, oh, we got a lead now. Now we can relax. For one, you're exerting so much energy to get the lead back. Then once you get it, it's like they go into relax mode, and that's when the dumb plays start kicking in. People just started breaking from outside, can't buy a basket, stuff like that. So since we couldn't capitalize, the Nets went on ahead, and then they went on their run. The guy that stood out to me, besides LeBron, which I'm going to get to, was Stanley Johnson. I feel like we should keep that brother, man. We should keep him. We signed him on a 10-day contract. He's one of the ones I say keep. His defense was impeccable, man. His defense was, it looked elite dare I say, elite tonight. When they threw him on James Harden in that fourth quarter, James Harden couldn't do nothing on that kid. He couldn't do nothing. The let me go to this line. That fourth quarter stats for Westbrook. I mean not Westbrook, but for James Harden here. And I felt like if this kid was on him the majority of the game, this would have been a completely different ball game because the defense that I saw was spectacular, especially guarding a superstar like James Harden. James Harden, brick, bad pass. This was when Stanley got in the game on him. Uh, James Harden, turnover. James Harden, missed driving layup. James Harden, offensive foul. He also missed a technical free throw, but it was just he couldn't get nothing off. He couldn't get nothing off on this Stanley Johnson kid, man, and he's only 25. With as bad as our defense has been looking, man, I say we keep that kid. We keep him, even over Isaiah Thomas if we got to, which he didn't get any run tonight. Probably because he shot poor his last two games. The first two games he played decent. His last two games he played poor, terrible, shot terrible from the field. That's probably why he didn't get any run tonight. But we still kind of putting a little too much on LeBron, who looked spectacular tonight. He ended up with 39 points, 7 assists, 9 rebounds, 3 steals, and a block. 8 or 9 from the free throw line, 14 to 25 from the field overall. So LeBron went Superman mode tonight, and it still wasn't enough. And that's the sad part. That lets you know that you really don't have, great help around you. Is this really supposed to have been Westbrook? But tonight, and it wasn't so much the turnovers like the last couple of games. Tonight, with Westbrook, it was his 4 of 20 shooting from the field. He had 11 assists, 12 rebounds, 13 points. He had some key hustle plays in there, like some second chance rebounds, stuff like that, kept plays alive. And he did play a little part in that comeback that we had. But it's like he'll do something good and then compound it with like 3 or 4 bad things. And that's enough to take your team completely out of a rhythm. I felt he missed a lot of chippy layups, point blank layups at the rim. LeBron James was finding this guy, and he was just missing wide open layups. We went on like a 20-something run, 21-something point run, and it just got squandered because we just missed like 3 layups in a row. It was like a lid on the rim at that point. And that killed us. That completely killed momentum, along with the referees taking away what should have been a clear path foul on James Harden when LeBron was about to break away for a slam dunk. James Harden clearly fouled LeBron James, and he was behind LeBron James. I feel like plays like that should be taken out of the game anyway, because if he does not foul, that was a clear breakaway dunk. So I don't see how we didn't get that call, and that halted some of our momentum too, because we ended up not scoring on that next possession. So you just took away 2 points, potentially more points from it that not being called a clear path. Now, I will say that the referees were missing calls on both parts. They were just kind of bad, period, tonight. It wasn't, I'm not going to say there was in favor of us or anything like that, but they were missing calls on both ends. James Harden got whacked a couple of times with no call. We got whacked a couple of times, no calls, stuff like that. I just felt like ours were at crucial moments of the game when we needed those plays. But it is what it is. You know, you don't never want to put the game in the hands of the referees. But we had decent contribution from other guys like Malik Monk, Carmelo Anthony, THT chipped in with 14 points, even though he did look a little antsy at times, not knowing what to do. You know, quickly trying to defer back to LeBron or Russell Westbrook. It's like at times he didn't know what to do himself. You know, I give him like a C grade tonight, but the guy that killed it for us, I hate to say it, was Russell Westbrook. It is what it is, man. He got outplayed by Patty Mills, who had 34 points tonight. That's absolutely ridiculous, not just on him, but on our team defense, period. You give up 34 points to Patty Mills, which is not surprising after giving up a 30-point perfect shooting night to, what was his name? Diop for the Spurs, the last game. A guy that averaged like just 3 points on the year. Guys continuously have these career high games against us. Even unknown players have career high games against us, which is just heartbreaking. That play at the end, I blame Fizdale. It's almost like we still got Frank Vogel in there because that was a defensive play out of a timeout that we needed to stop with a couple of seconds left. I mean, I want to say it was like maybe 30 or 40 seconds left. But if we get that stop, I feel like we win this game. But we come back in out of that timeout, and instead of going with a big man that can protect the rim for that defensive possession, a Dwight Howard, even a Huff or somebody like that, man, we still decided to go small ball. LeBron James at center, and what do you know happens? He's not quite tall enough to reach Claxton's lob attempt. I almost got him. Fizdale almost got LeBron James dunked on, but the guy, he had to kind of throw it in the basket, and he ended up getting the and one play, which pretty much sealed the deal at that point. Just a dumb decision by Fizdale at that point. Stuff like that, man, happens to bad teams. When you're a bad team, you just do dumb stuff. You just do dumb stuff to shoot yourself in the foot. And that's what we are, a bad team that also shoots themselves in the foot. You know, it was silly of me to kind of get hype off that comeback. I had basically was getting ready to turn this game off. What was it? Late third quarter going into the fourth. It was like I saw no effort from the team. Now the Nets had had a collapse there, combined with Stanley Johnson amazing defense on James Harden in fourth quarter. It helped us sneak back into the game, but at the same time, it's just all the things that we do wrong, it always comes back to bite us. No matter how good we do or how good we look, we do too many things bad to overcome anything good that we try to do. So it's just a moot point, basically. And my cousin, who's a big James Harden fan, people think that I dislike James Harden. No. I actually feel like a lot of his struggles came this year because he had came off that hamstring injury. Some of it he put on himself because he didn't. He wasn't in shape. He didn't come into the season in shape. And third, he couldn't really adjust to the foul calling system quick enough. You know, he was used to getting at least like 11 free throws or something like that a game. But the last excuse was I felt like he was used to just being the sole superstar in Houston all those years. So it's just that's an adjustment period for him as well, having to um, share the ball with Kevin Durant and Kyrie at a certain point. Especially after being a sole superstar himself. It's not like back when he was playing the third fiddle with KD on the Thunder. It's different now that he has to come back after being an established superstar, having to adjust. So those are the excuses that I give him. The only thing that makes me despise him is not even him. It's the media or fans that actually believe he was this all-time scorer, better than KD, better than Kobe, better than Jordan. When they say blasphemous stuff like that, it sometimes makes you just like, really, come on now. So it's things like that. But other than that, I got no problems with the guy, man. He had a great game tonight, and I felt like we could have cooled him down even more than that fourth quarter if we had discovered Stanley Johnson's defense earlier in this ball game. But it is what it is. We learned something from this loss, hopefully. I know that the rotations is not going to get better because we're like halfway into the season, and all these coaches, it doesn't matter whether it's Fizdale or um, uh, 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 Frank, it doesn't matter. They're all just still seeming to just do dumb stuff. I don't understand. We don't take challenges when necessary. Um, I felt like that out of bounds play when Stanley Johnson had stole the ball from James Harden clean. Uh, that was one of the cleanest rips I've ever saw, and they called a foul. My cousin was saying James Harden or the Nets was getting robbed due to a lack of calls. No, it was bad both ways. It was. I'm keeping it 100. The refereeing was poor both ways tonight. So it was a wash with that. So neither side can really complain about getting an upper hand when it came to that. It was just bad all over around. Um, but I've heard rumblings about us looking into Jeremy Grant or Ben Simmons. At this point, I would prefer Jeremy Grant over Ben Simmons. I just feel like um, Jeremy Grant is an elite defender as well. Simmons is an elite defender as well too, but Jeremy Grant, I feel, provides a little bit more on both ends. He can do a little bit of both, and that's my take on that. We would have to give up probably a significant amount of pieces just to get him. We probably would have to give up more if we wanted Simmons, because I feel like the Sixers are probably going to demand a ton back for Simmons. But either way, we would still have to give up like maybe a THT, probably a Malik Monk or whoever else, and a future pick, something like that, to get the Pistons to bite on something like that, which is it'll be disappointing having to give up somebody like THT because even though he's been up and down this season and sometimes looked downright atrocious, the potential is still there, and he may just be one of those players like Kyle Kuzma or Josh Hart or somebody like that that has to go to another team to really show you their value. He may just be one of those players that cannot give you his full self on a team like this. And that's my thoughts on that. But we are really being helped right now in the standings because other than the top three teams, which is the Jazz, the Warriors, and the Suns, the rest of the West has just been underwhelming this year. So we've been basically getting lucked out as far as that. And then with the bad news coming out from Clippers camp, Paul George out like 4 weeks or something like that with an injury. So they might end up going on some type of losing streak. Even though Tyronn Lue is a great coach, they might still grind out some wins, but I don't see them being able to win a substantial amount of games without Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. That may just be too much to overcome. So we're getting helped out with the teams that's around us. We just not taking advantage, which is sad. This would have been a major win to kind of weather the storm, and we just couldn't do it. But thank y'all for watching my content. If y'all enjoyed it, please help the channel grow by sharing, and subscribing. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.